Hey, what's up, Talkbox TV fans? This is Mayhem for another episode of Talkbox Tutor. In this episode, I've got my camera a little bit closer to my keyboard because I want you to see a few things that are going on. I'm going to talk about playing embellishments and how you can add them to your Talkbox playing or just keyboard playing in general. So I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about monophonic sounds and portamento and how they relate to each other. I'm going to talk about the pitch bend wheel and also the mod wheel and how we can use that to create this effect called vibrato. So firstly, one of the things that we like about Talkbox playing, or that's kind of nice, is that we're trying to emulate a human voice almost. So in order to do that, we like to play a monophonic sound. In other words, when we hold down one key on the keyboard, it only plays one sound. So if I try to play a chord, it's only actually playing one sound. And if I can show you what's happening there. If I try to play two keys, then it'll transition between the notes somehow. And the way it transitions in a monophonic sound is due to portamento. So portamento adds some kind of pitch blending behavior between keys. So if I press the lower C and the upper C key on my keyboard, you can hear a huge pitch blending between those two keys. Now there's two things in portamento. There's portamento mode and time. Right now I have it on fingered portamento, and that allows me to play a key and then pick it up and then play the next key and not have the portamento take effect. So if I play this key, you can hear that there was no kind of transition between there, and that's because I'm using fingered portamento as opposed to full portamento. So you want to use fingered when you're playing with the Talkbox, or else you may change your scale that you're playing in, or change the key that you're playing in, maybe go up a few octaves, and then play again, and then you get this portamento effect that you don't want. So use fingered. That's what I use, and that's probably what everybody else uses. But anyway, the other thing in portamento is called portamento time. And that tells you how long it takes for the note to go up and down the keyboard. So if I go to my settings on my DX100 here and I go to portamento time, right now I have it on 7. So you may put it on something else if you want. It really depends on how much variation you want in between the notes. I like 7, maybe other people don't. So here's an example. So now I'm going to change the portamento time to the maximum, and you can really hear the difference. So that just gives you a little funny example of how portamento time affects the pitch change between the notes. So the second thing I'm going to talk about is a pitch bend wheel, and you can set that up on pretty much any modern keyboard. Sometimes there's a joystick that has pitch bend and modulation on the same control surface, but on the DX100 there's two different wheels, and a lot of keyboards have that also. So the pitch bend wheel allows you to basically take a note and bend the pitch of it. Basically up an octave, down an octave, up a couple notes, whatever you want. So it allows you to do stuff like this. Let's get funky. So I had the modulation on there. I forgot to turn it off, but it sounded pretty bad. Anyway, it allows you to do stuff like that. So it allows you to bend the pitch, obviously. Usually people have it on 2, and that means bend the pitch by 2 keys. So if I show you this key, and then I play this key, C and D, if I bend the pitch up, it'll go from C to D, and if I bend the pitch down, it'll go from C to B flat, or A sharp, or whatever you want to call it. So here I'm going to show you. So you can see how it works, and you can add playing embellishments. You can do this sort of stuff that people like. Yeah! So pitch bend's really useful for creating those really funky sounds, and I'll show you a little demo later with all these things kind of integrated together. So modulation wheel is the next thing we're going to talk about, and it creates this effect called vibrato, or you can make it do that. You can make it do a lot of different things, but basically it takes a low frequency oscillator and oscillates some parameter in your keyboard. So on the DX100 you can make it modulate either the volume, or you can make it modulate the pitch of the sound. So when the singer sings a note, like a long note, sometimes you might hear their pitch shifting. So if it went you would be able to hear the pitch kind of changing back and forth. So I'm going to give you an example of what vibrato sounds like with the mod wheel. Happy birthday to you. So you can see they're coming in and it vibrates the pitch a little bit. And it's good for creating those long notes. So there's two different parameters. There's the depth and also the speed. And the speed is changed by changing your low frequency oscillator that you're using to change the pitch. So I'm going to give you an example of that. I'm going to show you what it sounds like going really fast and going really slow. Right now I have it on 33 and I'm changing the LFO wave speed. I'm changing the LFO speed, not the wave. So when you're doing this, you can also do different type of waveforms. Usually people use a triangle or a sine wave. But anyways, I'm changing the speed right now, and you're going to be able to hear it radically change the amount of vibrato and kind of the character of it. So again, I have it on 33. I'm going to leave it there because I like it like that. So the other thing you can change is the depth of the vibrato. So I'm going to go over here now to my wheel range, and I'm going to look at pitch. And right now I have it on 16, and you can hear what that sounds like. But if I change it to something a little bit better, or not better, but a little bit harsher, you can hear it. So that's an example of how the modulation wheel can be used to change the pitch and create this vibrato sound. So I'm going to show you a little bit what you can do with the pitch wheel. You can replace your monophonic playing with basically the pitch wheel. So if I want to do this more bounce thing, I go more bounce. But if you notice that first couple notes there, I kind of rolled my hand and played the notes together, so you get that kind of pitch shift using the portamento, or I can replace that with a pitch bending sound. I can do this, more bounce. I can do something like that. So the pitch wheel is really useful for creating those things, or you could kind of chain them together. One thing that people like to use that monophonic playing with portamento for is doing stuff like this. Or you can chain them together, and you can do things like this. Yeah, baby. So you can create a lot of different effects with using the pitch bend, the modulation, and monophonic playing skills. But you know, everybody's out there to develop their own style, or maybe copy somebody else's first, but it doesn't really matter. That's what you can do with the pitch bend, modulation, and the monophonic playing with portamento. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Talkbox Tutor. I hope you found it informative. Back to you, DJ Impact.